Pola Ganor Solly's wife. Yes.
Pola, it's good to have you and to speak to you. And if you could just mention a little bit about your history.
Thank you. I tell you. I don't tell my stories a lot because Solly didn't write it yet. He's always writing about himself. But this time I tell you. I was born in Poland, in Lodz, and my family was very well off. My mother had 3 brothers and a sister. And I went there to school, private school, and then the war broke out, and I stopped going to school, obviously, and I had to wear a sign.
This was in 1939,
Yeah.
in the beginning.
And then they started a ghetto in Lodz. So we decided, my father said, we're going to leave Lodz and go to Warsaw. In Warsaw wasn't a ghetto yet. And we got to the train, took just a handbag with me, nothing, and a coat, and my sister and my mother and my father, and we went to Warsaw. To Warsaw, my father was there before and rented an apartment, and then the rest of the family, his sister came, mother's sister and brother, and everybody came, but one, the youngest brother, said no. He's staying in Lodz to protect the business.
Oy.
We had big wool business, selling wool and clothes.
Textiles, yeah.
It was a very big building. And but he wanted to take care of it. Little did he know that he won't have a chance. He believed that the war is like it was before, that he'll put in the basement food and that will be enough for him to survive. Little did he know that after we were already in Warsaw, they threw him out of the apartment of his house because they put him in the ghetto. Everybody went to the ghetto who lived in Lodz.
And Paula, how old were you at this time?
I was there 13.
13.
And my sister was 2 years younger. And my mother and father and my aunts and part of the family went together to Warsaw. In Warsaw, at first they thought my father and the men that they would run to Russia. And they took a special guide to come and wait for them to take them through the border. Before the ghetto Warsaw. But he didn't appear, so they came back. But then they started pushing already Jews into the ghetto in Warsaw. So father decided with my uncle, the youngest, that they're going to try to get out of Poland. And they went to the Polish embassy, consulate, not the embassy, and there was a German sitting instead of a Pole. And they managed to bribe him really well, and he issued Polish passports.
Wow.
And with the Polish passports, we could leave to Italy, because we got a visa to Tanzania or Tanzania. I'll show you next time the passport. So instead of going to the ghetto, we went to the train station and tried to get on the train going to Italy, because Italy was not at war yet. The first time they kicked us out of the train on one door, so we went through the other door. My mother was okay, and my father. And we managed to get to Italy, to the border of Italy. And everybody had to get out of the train because that was run by the Germans. And they put us in the line to check for schmuggel. Schmuggel is jewelry. I had a golden watch in my pocket, but I wasn't shaky. But the couple next to me had diamonds.
Wow.
So they made them, they killed them.
They killed on the spot.
In the line.
And you saw this? You saw
Yeah.
this?
And we walked over to Italy, and there we went to Trieste by bus. Italy wasn't at war yet. We had a cousin in Trieste. Went to Pension Alba, and the pension was run by a German woman. And then we had to wait to get the entrance to Palestine. We had to get the permission. But till we got the visa to Palestine, took a long time. By the time that we had a ship already ordered ready that was going to go from Italy to Europe, to Palestine. And we had to leave, and they went to Rome and they got the passports. But we missed the boat in Trieste, the ship ready, and we had to take a taxi to the Brindisi, another port. And on the way, my aunt, my mother's sister, remembered that she forgot her coat, that in the lining she hid her diamonds.
Wow.
And we went back, and the German woman that ran the hotel, she said, no, there was no coats.
Oh, my goodness.
But we made to the ship.
Yeah.
And the ship started going to Palestine, through Egypt and all that. But Italian ship, the British tried a torpedo that stayed inside the ship. It didn't blow up. But they took the ship with us on it to Malta. They didn't let us out. So we are on the ship in Malta for 1,000 air raids, over 2 months, I think.
And they couldn't get off the ship.
No, we couldn't get off, and we couldn't do nothing. The cooks, all the Italians were put in prison, and they made the people that were the women and this to kind of prepare food and all that. The British were taking care of it a bit. And then they got us a convoy to go back to Palestine, and they dropped us in Egypt. We had to cross the Suez by boat.
Wow, what?
And then from Alexandria, we took a boat, went through the Suez, and then to Kantara, and then the bus from Haifa, and my uncle came to collect us. Meantime, when we were waiting for the bus and my uncle to come, some Arabs wanted to buy me from my father.
Wow.
But he didn't sell me, luckily.
And Paula, what year was this?
Huh?
What year roughly was this that you were?
It was in 1940, 41, around there, right?
Was this in the beginning of the war, in 1940?
1940.
So you were
We got to Israel in August.
of about 1940?
Yeah. And we lived in Tel Aviv, and then we stayed in Tel Aviv during the war and all this, the whole family. But one uncle, the one that wanted to take care of the business, died in starvation.
Oy.
You see, in Los Angeles, in the museum of Holocaust Museum, they have books of those that died. And I could find Nissan Heber, that he died of hunger, starvation, and all this. And he had 2 little children, and his wife, they all died.
Oy.
So it just shows you that if you make the right decision
You can say
at the
yeah.
right
Exactly.
time, you can sometimes be lucky.
Yeah,
But if you don't do it, his father
yeah.
wanted to sell the business, you know,
Right.
get money without this.
Because
Yeah.
nobody ever believed
Sully's
that it
father
would be
couldn't
possible.
sell the business, and
Yeah.
they waited. And
And then the guy wanted to buy it, but he didn't want to pay right away, so they stayed longer, you see. Otherwise, they could have gone out, because they even got but they didn't let them on the train anyhow,
But Sugihara, he
because
advanced.
the Russians were already there, and you see. And that's that the yeshiva boys that came to Lita, they had Polish passports.
And they could go.
That's how they survived.
But you know what's amazing, Paula, that your parents had the insight, they had the wisdom to know that they
And
should
now
leave.
they say in the Polish, now is all the time on television, as
Yes.
if they didn't kill. They were killing Jews the same way,
Yeah, right.
but
As the
not
Jews.
as much. But the 2 camps were in Poland.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It
And
happened
I
on- it
know
happened on
some
Polish
people
soil.
that I had a friend here in Israel that her parents wanted to go back to the house,
Yeah, and they were killed.
and they were killed.
Yes, for sure. They
There were
killed.
many
The
instances.
Poles were killing them.
After the war, even when people returned back
at
to
the
their homes.
beginning, after the war, the beginning of.
Yeah.
And they denying
now
all this.
now a lot of Jews, I think, are studying, working in Poland. They build them electric company. I know some friends of ours that their children are in Poland. That makes me mad, mind
I
you.
know.
But,
It does. Why?
So, Paula, you've been here in Israel from the birth, from the beginning, before the state was established. And you remember the War of Independence, you remember...
I can't hear you.
No.
You remember the War of Independence, the 1948?
Yeah.
Wow,
But then I left for America.
wow. And now you're back home, you're back in Israel.
But then I came back to Israel.
Wonderful. And you're back home. Paula, thank you so much. Wow, what an amazing story.
One of these days I'll tell you more details. The story was not in such a short.
It's an incredible story. It's an
A lot
incredible...
of I kind of shortened it up.
Thank you so much, Paula. And you should just
But
be
that
well.
gives you a
and-
picture how you have to know when and how to decide and be lucky with your decision, and that's it.
And it saved your life, and it saved
Yeah.
your family.
And the uncle, mother's brother, youngest brother, died, and he could have come with us, with his 2 children, you know. So it just goes to show you, you can't argue. And money is the main reason. People that think about money more than anything else, they lose more. Today, if you read the newspaper, Teva is losing, going down.
Paula, you know, you should just be well and have nachas and all of Hashem's blessings and
Thank
may
you.
Estrim, you and Sonny.
Thank you.
You should just be well until all of Hashem's blessings,
Thank
really.
you.
And just health, happiness, and nachas.
I'm happy that you wanted to hear my story because
Very much.
very few people are interested.
No, a lot of
Nobody
people
now
You
cares.
know what
No, we
else?
all care, and it's so important that you're alive.
Next time I see you, I will prepare my passport.
Thank you so much, Paula. I really
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for
You kept your
coming.
passport all these years, eh?
Huh?
You kept your Polish passport all
Well, I
these
came with it.
Yes, but you kept it with you all
It's
these
very,
years.
very
Yeah,
dear.
well,
That's
otherwise
amazing.
I couldn't come to Israel.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you,
They
Paula.
gave me visas there and all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's life.
And a Shabbat Shalom and just
Toda
all the very
Shabbat.
best. Toda Rabban.